Please read the description before or after the video. The story starts off with a narration about the Kyuubi being sealed in Naruto, like in the original. Naruto starts off painting on the faces of the Hokage. Ninjas start chasing him and he runs away. Later, Naruto watches students in the academy train from a distance. Iruka and Mizuki greet him, and Iruka berates him for his pranks. Naruto asks if he can join the academy, but Iruka tells him that he needs a parent or a recommendation, and he has neither. Naruto asks if Iruka can send him straight to Genin without the academy, but Iruka says that he can't. Naruto tells him that he's been working on 2 new jutsu that he saw the Hokage do for 4 years and that it might change his mind. The first one is transformation jutsu. When Naruto turns into Iruka, the two are impressed. Mizuki wants to promote him to Genin, but Iruka says that it isn't enough. When Naruto is about to show his second jutsu, the two are called back by a staff member at the academy. The person whispers and asks why he's talking to the demon fox. Naruto walks home in sadness and all the adults around him are whispering and gossiping about how he's a demon. Mizuki comes to talk to him about how Iruka sees himself in him. After becoming inspired, Naruto goes to the forest and starts training hard again. After he uses transformation jutsu a few times and gets it consistent, he begins working on another jutsu. Time skips forward and Naruto is going home when he's stopped by Iruka, who tells him that he has to clean up his mess. Naruto does, and Iruka promises to treat him to ramen when he's done. Iruka asks Naruto why he does his pranks, bringing up the 4th, saving everyone from the Kyuubi. Naruto tells him that it's because he's going to become the greatest Hokage. Naruto once again asks Iruka for a headband, but he refuses. The next day, Naruto watches all of the academy students graduate and he sits on the swing. Some kids notice him and begin to make fun of him. Naruto monologues on how he used to play with the kids of the village who didn't ignore him, but once they all turned 8, they went to the academy and left him behind. Iruka sometimes allowed him to spar with other kids, but he always lost. Soon after, the 3rd Hokage showed him 2 jutsus, which gave Naruto the idea that if he wanted to become Hokage, he had to be able to do what the current Hokage can do. When Naruto is going home, a crime happens. Mizuki went rogue and is demanding a forbidden scroll. The pros aren't here yet, so Naruto steps forward and demands that he let the hostages go. When he realizes it's Mizuki, he asks why he's doing this. Mizuki explains that he wants power and would have used Naruto to get the scroll, but he's too weak. When Naruto claims that he'll stop him, Mizuki laughs and asks what the demon fox is gonna do to him. Naruto gets confused and hears people in surprise that he said it. When he asks for clarification, Mizuki tells him that the Kyuubi is sealed within him and that's why everyone stays away from him. Naruto freezes for a moment, but he remembers that he told himself that he would become Hokage. He tells himself that he's finally got the hang of the second jutsu, and that now's the time to use it. Naruto uses Shadow Clone Jutsu, creating 4 clones and charges at Mizuki. They engage in taijutsu, but Naruto isn't strong enough. Mizuki is wasting time and decides to kill Naruto, but Iruka interrupts and defeats Mizuki. After Mizuki is captured, Iruka tells Naruto that he has something to talk to him about. Later that day, Iruka and Naruto meet. Iruka tells Naruto to close his eyes as he puts a headband on his forehead. When Naruto opens his eyes, Iruka congratulates him, telling him that he is now a ninja. Iruka explains that the Shadow Clone Jutsu is an advanced technique, and Transformation Jutsu is a technique that all genin should be able to use, and that makes Naruto more than qualified. Naruto breaks into tears and hugs Iruka. The story with Konohamaru is the same as in the original. Naruto takes his picture, deals with Konohamaru, teaches him Sexy Jutsu, and uses it on Ibisu. The only difference is that Naruto can only make 4 clones. The next day, Naruto arrives to the ceremony and everyone is surprised that he's even there. He narrates about his hate for Sasuke and his love for Sakura before Iruka comes in and assigns the squads. Sakura shows no explicit romantic attraction to Sasuke at this point, but shows a slight annoyance towards Naruto. Later, she tries to have a conversation with Sasuke about being on the same team. Naruto comes up as a topic and Sakura talks about him being an orphan, so Sasuke scolds her and says that she makes him sick, like in the original. Sakura begins to think that she should be a little nicer to him. Naruto pulls the same prank on Kakashi for being late, and things go mostly the same. An addition to Kakashi is that he still has his chakra saber from his childhood. When asked about their dreams, Sasuke and Naruto's remain the same, but Sakura's dream is to become a powerful ninja without a notable clan name, which the other 3 respect. When asked what she hates, she thinks of Naruto, but decides that she'll be nicer and says nothing instead. When Sasuke states his dream, Sakura has some internal monologue that hints at an attraction to Sasuke. When Sakura receives the handouts, her thoughts have nothing to do with Sasuke. The rest stays the same. On the day of Kakashi's test, the beginning starts out the same, until Naruto approaches Kakashi alone. Instead of multiple clones, Naruto can still only create 4. He catches Kakashi by surprise, but his sensei counters with substitution. Naruto beats himself up, undoes the jutsu, and gets captured as usual. After Sasuke reveals his location, Sakura casts Camouflage Jutsu, a basic ninjutsu that allows the user to blend in with their surroundings. She moves to Kakashi's location and casts her self-made Genjutsu, Cherry Blossom Clash, which creates a storm of cherry blossoms that blind the target's view. Attempting to help Sasuke get away, Kakashi quickly realizes the Genjutsu and activates his own, which causes her to see the bloody Sasuke. She faints in a less comedic, more serious manner as Naruto escapes into the second trap. Sasuke and Kakashi's fight goes down the same, ending with Sasuke trapped underground. While unconscious, Sakura has a vague flashback of Sasuke and her practicing Shuriken Jutsu together before waking up to a freed Sasuke. Sakura talks about how it's impossible to get the bells, angering Sasuke like in the original. From Sasuke bringing up Itachi to them failing, is all the same. Kakashi's lesson on teamwork goes mostly the same with a slight addition. Instead of ending on a purely optimistic note, he recites Obito's signature quote, but specifies that it's someone else's and not his. He tells them that the real world will challenge this belief and may force them to break it, but it's still a good foundation to start on. Naruto is most inspired by this quote. The cat mission happens, Naruto complains, and then they get the Tasuno mission like in the original story. From the Demon Brothers until Naruto stabbing himself is the same, except Naruto doesn't heal quickly and needs medical attention. Everything up to the Zabuso fight is the same, except for the number of clones that Naruto can make. Naruto only makes 3 clones to deal with Zabuso. His taijutsu is better than in the OG, but still not enough. The Shadow Shuriken technique goes the same, except now it's foreshadowed by Naruto missing a clone. Kakashi defeats Zabuso and Haku shows up. Everything up to the tree climbing part is the same, except Sakura isn't antagonistic towards Naruto. All the events up to the ice mirrors are the same. Naruto can only use a max of 4 clones at a time to attack Haku. Another difference is that the elemental Kekkei aren't mixtures of elements but completely unique to a user or clan, meaning that ice can't be made by mixing water and wind. It's an element unique to the Yuki clan. Kakashi vs Zabuso has Kakashi using his saber against Zabuso's sword before he uses Silent Killing. Sasuke awakens the Sharingan against Haku. Once Kakashi gets cut by Zabuso, Sakura uses Cherry Blossom Clash on Zabuso, giving Kakashi time to summon his dogs. Sasuke is gravely injured by Haku, and Naruto's Nine Tails awakens. The fight between Naruto and Haku goes the same until the end. At the end of the battle, Naruto, possessed by the Kyuubi, is pummeling Haku almost to death, but Naruto fights for control over his body and struggles for a while before winning, showing the drawback of his power-up. Haku and Naruto talk, and Haku asks to be killed. Thanks to Sakura, Kakashi could get his dogs to hold Zabuso in place. The rest goes down like the original, with Haku dying in place of Zabuso. Sakura finds Sasuke unconscious and cries. Kakashi fights Zabuso with his saber until Gato appears. Naruto inspires Zabuso like in the OG, and Gato and Zabuso die. Inari comes with the villagers and Kakashi helps scare the fodder away. Naruto decides to make his own Nindo, and the rest of the arc is the same. If you haven't already, please read the description for further insight on this series. The intro is the same, with Naruto getting beat up on a mission, except Sakura doesn't threaten Naruto afterwards. Sakura doesn't try to chase Sasuke, and thus doesn't get exposed. Instead, when Sasuke challenges Naruto to get better, she herself realizes that she's worse than Naruto and starts to feel insecure. Konohamaru shows up with his squad, and when bringing up Sakura, mentions her billboard brow, so she chases him and he runs into Kankuro. Kakashi and Iruka have the same interaction and the other 2 squads are shown. Everything else goes the same as in the OG, except Sakura is a bit more polite to Rock Lee in declining him. In Sasuke's fight with Rock Lee, Sakura doesn't dick ride Sasuke as much. Everything up until they enter the room is the same. Sakura isn't violent towards Naruto's declaration to everyone, and instead tries to use her words to explain why he shouldn't have just done that. Everything from here to the written exam is the same. The start of the forest is the same, except Sakura doesn't hit Naruto before he takes a piss. The team's fight against Oboro is the same. Orochimaru disguises himself as Naruto, and Sasuke figures him out. Meanwhile, Naruto is running away from a giant snake. Sakura and Sasuke's side goes the same, but Naruto lures the snake away with a clone. He then gets behind it and along with his clones, throws a storm of shurikens, killing the snake. His arrival to the team is the same. When Naruto gets smacked by Orochimaru, instead of using the Kyuubi, he summons his 4 clones and punches the snake simultaneously. When Orochimaru goes for Sasuke, Naruto uses his 4 clones again to hold off the snake as a substitute for the Kyuubi strength in the OG. Orochimaru beats Naruto in taijutsu and takes the scroll. Sakura shouts at Sasuke, he remembers Itachi, and Sasuke fights Orochimaru, ending with him acquiring the curse mark. Anko's side of the story and the aftermath of the fight remain the same. Orochimaru and Anko's fight remains the same. When Sakura takes care of her teammates, she uses her genjutsu to keep any enemies away, but Team Dozu is eventually able to break the genjutsu. This leads into her trap and Lee's entrance, all of which remain the same. When Keen grabs Sakura's hair, her monologue about being a burden happens, and then she has a flashback. Sakura had a normal and average childhood. She wanted to become a ninja, but she felt like she wasn't good enough. The young Sasuke, before the tragedy, found her practicing and he offered to help her out. Sasuke was able to help her with Shuriken Jutsu and with using Jutsu, as he could already use Fireball Jutsu. This was short, but special to her, because he gave her the push she needed to devote her time to becoming a ninja. In the present, Sakura cuts off her hair and fights Team Dozu. In the flashback, now held by both Sakura and Ino, this experience causes her to develop feelings for Sasuke that she keeps hidden. When she joined the academy, she was being bullied because of her forehead, but Ino protected her and encouraged her to embrace her forehead. The two became best friends. Sakura secretly tells Ino that she likes Sasuke, starting their rivalry. In the present, Sakura is getting pummeled by Zaku, so Team Asuma steps in and does the same thing. Sasuke has his dream, and Neji and Tenten appear. Neji fights Team Dozu. He first targets Dozu and completely dominates him with his gentle fist, but before he can finish, Sasuke gets up. Not wanting to share a fight with Sasuke, and also wanting to see what Sasuke can do, Neji backs away from the fight and lets Sasuke take over. Sasuke's fight stays the same, and Team Dozu retreats. Everything until Lee wakes up is the same. Tenten tells Lee that Neji and Sasuke drove the enemies off. Tenten scolds him, and Sakura comes to thank him. Lee tells Neji and Sasuke that the Hyuga and Uchiha are truly strong, and that he needs more training since he lost. He tells Sakura Gai's signature quote, and promises to get stronger. Ino helps Sakura with her hair, and Neji thinks about Sasuke's strength. Anko's storyline remains the same. Team Kurenai witnessing Gaara's fight is also the same. When Team 7 is catching fish, Sakura doesn't seem obsessed with Sasuke. When Naruto wants to open the scroll, Sakura isn't aggressive and doesn't attack him. Everything up until the fight with Team Oboro is the same. Naruto doesn't waste his chakra using shadow clones when he's told not to. Instead, they all work together until the sun comes up. Once they show themselves, the rest is the same. Since Naruto hasn't used too much chakra, he can punch Team Oboro. No one is surprised by Naruto's chakra since he hasn't used that much. The rest of the fight is the same. Everything from all of the ninja passing to Shino vs Saku is also the same. The start of Sakura vs Ino remains the same until the flashback. Instead of talking about Sasuke, Sakura brags about being stronger than Ino. Sakura is in much worse shape than Ino due to the forest. The flashback continues until Sakura and Ino put their headbands on in the present. Sakura uses clone jutsu and chakra enhanced speed to punch Ino. While she's on the ground, she uses Cherry Blossom Clash to blind her. Sakura tells Ino to quit, but she refuses. Sakura proceeds to beat up Ino until her genjutsu wears off. Sakura insults Ino, and the latter cuts off her hair. Like in the original, Ino tricks Sakura with a fake hand seal and traps her with the hair rope. When Ino is ready to use the real mind transfer jutsu, Sakura quickly uses hand seals, but it's too late. Ino is about to forfeit in Sakura's body when Naruto tells Sakura not to give up. While inside Sakura's mind, she is met by a large Sakura. Sakura reveals that before she was caught, she casted a genjutsu named Inner Sakura, allowing her to trap her opponents inside her mind, along with a giant version of herself. Though it can't do any physical damage, it can trap her opponents, or, in this case, force opponents out of her mind. Once Ino is forced out, Kakashi explains Sakura's jutsu that she's secretly been working on. Like in the original, Sakura is compared to Naruto before the two ninjas knock each other out. Everything including the conversation after the two wake up is the same. Tenten vs Temari begins and is actually shown. Tenten summons and attacks with a plethora of ranged weapons, but Temari blows them away. Tenten controls these weapons with wires and uses them to continue attacking from all directions. It is then revealed that Tenten has set up a wire trap to surround and capture Temari. Lee cheers his teammate on, but Temari cuts all the wires with her first star. She explains the stars on her fan, and says that the third star will mean her opponent's defeat. Tenten uses a large Fuma Shuriken, since they are more resistant to the wind. But when Temari blows one away, using the second star, it is revealed that Tenten used Shadow Shuriken Jutsu on all of her Fuma Shurikens, meaning that there's double the amount. Unable to blow them away, she begins to dodge the attacks, but one of the Fuma Shurikens that get close to her has a paper bomb on it. It explodes near her, and Tenten thinks that she's won, but Temari is gliding in the air on her fan. Using the third star, Temari defeats Tenten with a whirlwind that lands her opponent on her fan. Temari throws Tenten and Lee catches her. The rest until Sakura wakes up is the same. Sakura doesn't completely credit Naruto for her draw, and doesn't get mad at him when he takes the thanks. Shikamaru's fight stays the same, and Naruto vs Kiba comes up. Kiba's flashback shows Naruto trying to join the academy, but being refused. He remembers Naruto hanging out with the academy kids, but being unable to use jutsu well. The beginning of the fight remains the same, except Sakura's flashback has slightly different scenes due to the previous changes. Naruto gets hit and Kiba uses a smoke bomb. Naruto immediately tries to escape, but is attacked by Akamaru. Kiba proceeds to beat up Naruto. When the smoke clears, Naruto is on the ground, and Akamaru runs to Kiba. When he reaches him, Akamaru turns into Naruto and surprises Kiba with a 3-hit combo. Kiba was only beating up a clone, and another clone captured Akamaru. The audience reaction is mostly the same. Kiba gives Akamaru the pill and uses Fang over Fang. After getting hit once, Naruto transforms into Kiba. The rest of the fight is the same, ending with Uzumaki Barrage. Everything until the start of Neji vs Hinata is the same. The Hyuga clan is set up a little differently. The main house are descendants of a pureblood Hyuga, while the branch house are descendants of a half-blood Hyuga. Branch house members have less potential in using Byakugan, and Neji and Hinata aren't cousins, they are much further apart. Hiyashi and Hizashi themselves are distant cousins of different houses. Everything in the fight remains the same, except these changes. Everything else is the same until Naruto starts training. Naruto isn't terrible at chakra control and is actually average, not requiring the Kyuubi since he trained hard at a young age. When he meets Jiraiya, the latter gives him tips on chakra control that makes Naruto better, rather than releasing a seal since Orochimaru didn't place one. Jiraiya also doesn't bring up Naruto's Kyuubi chakra. Baki kills Hayate like in the OG. In Jiraiya's training, he goes straight to teaching Naruto summoning jutsu. When the Hokage looks at Minato, he looks nothing like Naruto. The other storylines stay the same. Instead of trying to get Naruto to use the Nine-Tails chakra, Jiraiya teaches Naruto how to summon different toads for different purposes. These toads are small and have their own unique jutsu. He also helps him with Shadow Clone jutsu. When Naruto gets tired, Jiraiya returns him to the hospital. The story until Naruto vs Neji is the same. With Naruto's better chakra control, he can create up to 9 clones. Neji's backstory is a little different. When Konoha and Kumo were making an alliance, Hiyashi was provoked by a Kumo ninja saying that he wanted the Byakugan, so he recklessly killed him. Not wanting to sacrifice someone of the main branch, Hizashi, Neji's father, who happened to look like Hiyashi, was sacrificed in his place in order to keep the alliance. The rest of the backstory is similar to the original. When Neji asks if anyone can become Hokage, Naruto replies with anyone who works hard enough can. After Neji hits Naruto with 64 palms and explains his story, Naruto reveals that he had summoned a defensive toad under his clothes. The defensive toad had its chakra-covered tongue wrapped around Naruto's body, preventing Neji's chakra from hitting his tenketsu. This shows that Naruto learned from Hinata's fight. Naruto summons a water toad that spits a powerful stream of water, and Neji counters with rotation and a kunai in hand. Naruto summons 2 clones to toss him up and 7 clones to throw him hard into Neji, all while preaching his ideology. While Neji is still performing rotation, Naruto rockets into him with a kunai swing. The clash of rotation against a water stream and Naruto's attack causes an explosion. The toad disappears and the smoke clears. Neji gets up while Naruto is still down. Naruto uppercuts from underground and makes a clone above Neji to kick him back down. Naruto tells Neji that he never got accepted into the academy, so he's below everyone else on average, but he always worked hard on the only 2 jutsu that he knew. Naruto tells Neji that since he's part of the branch house, he should be weaker than everyone in the main house, yet he's the strongest Hyuga, surpassing Hinata in Byakugan and Gentle Fist. Naruto tells Neji that by being so talented, he's denying his destiny as a subservient branch house. Naruto is declared the winner, and the audience doesn't talk about the Nine-Tails since he didn't use it. When Hiyashi talks to Neji, he reveals that Hizashi wanted to die for his clan and chose his own destiny. Thinking about Naruto's words, Neji realizes that people could truly change their destiny. The story afterwards remains the same. During the operation, the Anbu are shown killing more enemy ninja and protecting the village. Hiruzen vs Orochimaru is mostly the same. After Hiruzen explodes the Hokage's legs and they regenerate, Hiruzen summons 4 clones and each Hiruzen, including the real one, blows one of the 5 elements. Hashirama uses his wood to protect his team against this attack, but the wood is destroyed and the 3 move away from the attack. The rest is the same, ending with the Reaper Death Seal. Everything until Sasuke's second fight is mostly the same as the manga. Instead of Gaara slowly transforming into the sand monster, Gaara begins to emit red chakra, similar to when Naruto fought Haku. Sasuke stalls Gaara, but he doesn't use Chidori yet. The flashbacks are the same. He starts with Bukijutsu and Fire Style, but when that doesn't work, he starts with Chidori, but Naruto kicks Gaara and Sakura shows up. Since Sasuke only has 1 Chidori left, Team 7 decides to fight Gaara as a team. Gaara has his childhood flashback. In the present, Gaara enters version 1, gaining a bubbly red chakra cloak. Naruto has his monologue about having a tailed beast before the battle begins. Gaara swings a chakra arm at the two and Sasuke uses Chidori to destroy the arm. Sakura uses Cherry Blossom Clash, but this only stalls him for a short time, since the tailed beast can wake him up. Sasuke throws Shuriken at Gaara, who swings at them, but they all turn into Naruto and grab Gaara. Naruto using his clone timing, and Sasuke using his Sharingan and speed, use Taijutsu together to beat up Gaara and dodge his attacks. The two use a combined Uzumaki and Lion's Barrage on their opponent and knock him down. Gaara gets angry and transforms into Shikaku. Team 7 moves back and wonders how they're going to defeat him. Naruto notices that Gaara's body is still on top of the beast and wants to take a chance on hitting him to win. Having no other ideas, Sasuke and Sakura agree, but they don't know how to effectively reach that height. Naruto summons a wind toad that blows them above the One Tail, while leaving clones disguised as a team on the ground. The One Tail takes the bait and fires bullets at the clones. Naruto uses his clones to propel his team onto the one-tailed beast, so Gaara attacks them with sand. Naruto summons his water toad to intercept some of the attacks, while Sakura helps with kunai bombs. Naruto and Sasuke run towards Gaara. Sasuke has his monologue about Itachi as he charges his Chidori, as well as his flashback about Kakashi telling him his limit. The lightning on his hand fizzes out as Sasuke is covered in sand, but the sand quickly explodes and Sasuke's Chidori is reactivated. The curse mark takes over his body as Naruto takes the opening Sasuke has created. Naruto uses his clones as footholds to jump around, avoiding Gaara's sand, and throws a punch. The sand catches his fist, so he headbutts Gaara, destroying the Shukaku. Naruto summons a basic toad to use his tongue to catch his team. The scene of Gaara and Naruto sharing a reflection is instead on a kunai. The end of the fight and the other storylines remain the same. Hiruzen dies, Naruto punches Gaara, has a speech, and both sides retreat. The beginning of the search for Tsunade is the same. The fight with Itachi and Kisame starts out the same. When Kakashi arrives, he brings out his white saber rather than a kunai. When Itachi uses the exploding water clone, Kakashi blocks it using mud wall jutsu, since earth is strong against water. After Itachi uses Tsukuyomi on Kakashi and reveals that they're after Naruto, Kakashi activates his Mangekyo and uses Kamui on the two opponents. They are warped away, but it is revealed that those were clones. The real ones come back and Kisame attacks the group. But Guy interrupts and the story continues as in the original. When training with Chidori, Sasuke has a flashback to Naruto carrying their group against Gaara. Most of the story stays the same, only with slight differences. Jiraiya doesn't make a joke about Naruto's lack of focus in the academy. When the leaf falls on Naruto's head, his flashback is different. Naruto sneaks into the academy to mess around with Shikamaru, Choji, and Kiba. Iruka catches them and gives them the same lesson, and they react in the same way. When Naruto recovers on Monday, it has nothing to do with the Nine Tails. When Kabuto insults Naruto, he doesn't say that he was relying on the Nine Tails. Orochimaru doesn't bring up the 5-element seal when Naruto is trying to summon. Naruto doesn't say it's the second time a snake has tried to eat him. When Kakashi and Sasuke are healed, they don't immediately wake up. Aside from these changes, the arc is the same. In the next arc, everything such as Shikamaru's storyline and Tsunade's healing starts out the same as the Sasuke retrieval arc, with the exception of Sasuke and Kakashi being unconscious and the Sound 4 not appearing yet. When Naruto goes to visit Sasuke, Sakura is already there. When the two go to visit Kakashi, Kurenai is waiting for them. Since the two are missing their sensei and teammate, she asks if they would like to join her squad for a mission, to which they both agree. Team Kurenai gathers her team and explains that Naruto and Sakura will accompany them on their next mission. Their C-rank mission is to capture a rogue in Kusagakure, the hidden grass village. His name is Teika, and he has been robbing and stealing from people in the village. The team leaves Konoha and heads to Kusa. This is the Kusagakure rogue arc. Teika is seen taking money from people by force and returning to the shadows. While he's counting his money, he thinks about how he recently found out that someone requested Konoha to capture him. Not wanting to take any risks, he decides that he'll hire a certain someone as a bodyguard. Back in Konoha, Sasuke and Kakashi wake up. Guy tells them that Naruto and Sakura took a mission with Team Kurenai. Sasuke asks for Kakashi to teach him more jutsus, so Kakashi agrees. They work on Sasuke's Chidori. Kakashi also teaches Sasuke how to summon small hawks. Sasuke also works on his fire style. When the team reaches Kusa, they look for information as a group for 2 days, but on the third, they split into pairs. Naruto and Hinata, Sakura and Shino, and Kurenai and Kiba are the pairs. When looking around for suspicious people and asking villagers for help, the two find themselves at Kanabi Bridge. Hinata points out that the bridge was a vital pathway to Yugakure's line of supply during the Third Shinobi World War, and that when Konoha destroyed it, the tide of the war was shifted to their side, despite their lack of manpower. Naruto compliments Hinata on her knowledge. They go back to the village and continue asking around when a man overhears them. He introduces himself as Aikyo and asks if they are looking for a Kusa Chunin who's causing trouble, to which they confirm. Hinata asks if he knows anything about Teika, and Aikyo hesitates, but eventually he says yes. He tells the duo that he and Teika were friends as kids, but that the Third Shinobi World War changed him. Kusa was invaded during the time, and both of their parents were killed, making them orphans. Once the war ended, Teika started going down the wrong path, and after becoming a Chunin, he started to steal from people and use his power to control the villagers. Naruto asks what Aikyo did after the war, and he replies that he found a family willing to take him in and became a ninja. Aikyo says that he hasn't seen Teika since then, and he begs the duo to bring him back to his senses. Naruto tells him not to worry and promises to do so, uplifting Aikyo. Hinata asks him to describe what Teika looks like. When they are walking away, she asks Naruto if he thinks that they can defeat a Chunin. Naruto says that everyone on their team is strong, including her, so it should be no problem, inspiring Hinata. Team Kurenai reunites and shares their information. Kurenai looks at the image of the man and says that she saw him talking to someone earlier. Kurenai creates a plan for the team to trap their target. Teika collects more money from some villagers before returning to the forest. Teika is approached by an old man. The man says that he's ready to make a deal. Teika asks if the man is willing to pay 5,000 ryo for safety from him, and the old man confirms. Teika then reveals that the actual amount of money that they agreed on earlier was 6,000. The old man is shocked, and Teika reveals that the old man is a fake and that it's the person that overheard his conversation before. Kurenai releases her transformation, and Team Kurenai, who have used camouflage jutsu, except for Naruto, attack him. Before they can reach him, a whip-like blade extends from out of sight and attacks the area. When the team dodges, they realize that their target is gone. Hinata uses Byakugan and sees him heading for the Tenchi Bridge, so the team follows. When they arrive, they see Teika accompanied by Jinin Akebino, a member of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. He's wielding the snake sword, or long sword. Kurenai, Shino, and Kiba take on Jinin, while Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata battle Teika. Naruto summons shadow clones and attacks Teika. Using his axe, Teika cuts down the clones easily. Hinata activates Byakugan and uses Gentle Fist to attack, but Teika blocks her palms with his axe and cuts her arm. Sakura uses Cherry Blossom Clash and all 3 charge the opponent. Teika taps the ground and uses Earth-style Dirt Spear Jutsu. Spears of Earth rise from the ground and attack randomly, injuring his opponents. He uses this time to release the Genjutsu. Teika laughs at their attempts as Naruto forms Rasengan. The rogue ninja uses Rock Barrier Jutsu, creating a shield of earth, and the Rasengan hits the shield. Teika then releases Dirt Spears from the shield, and Naruto narrowly avoids the attack. In the other battle, Jinin is attacking with his flexible whip sword as the trio dodges. Kiba attacks with Tunneling Fang, but he hits a water clone. Shino releases his chakra-eating bugs at the swordsman. Jinin forms hand seals and activates water style, Tiger Bomb Jutsu, creating a large beast made of water to get rid of the bugs. Kurenai traps him in her Genjutsu, but when she cuts his neck, it's a water clone again. Out of sight, Jinin casts Hidden Mist Jutsu. Naruto asks Teika why he resorts to crime. Teika tells him that he couldn't understand. He states that being a victim of war changed him as a person. Naruto summons shadow clones while telling his opponent that he's wrong. Teika tells Naruto that after becoming a war orphan, committing crimes was the only way to survive because he no longer had any parents or anyone to look after him. Naruto summons a small toad and brings up Aikyo. The toad extends his tongue and grabs the axe. Teika asks why he knows the name of his dead friend. The clones charge in and reply that it's because he isn't dead. The rogue has a worried look on his face as he uses third spears again. As the clones disappear one by one, Naruto continues that Aikyo experienced the same war, but he never went down the wrong path. One of the clones evades all of the spears and turns back into Hinata, who blocks Teika's chakra. Naruto exclaims that Teika found a foster family and became a respectable ninja. Sakura traps Teika with inner Sakura, and Naruto creates another Rasengan. Naruto tells Teika that if Aikyo can go through the same thing and come out fine, then so can he, as he lands the final blow. Teika is blasted back and knocked out. Chunin attacks with his snake sword from the mist. He also fires fangs of water from different directions. The trio is sustaining injuries when Shino reveals that he planted a female bug on Chunin and his bugs have located her scent. He uses his bugs to attack him, but the swordsman is too nimble, using the snake sword as a grappling hook. Not wanting to be outdone by his rival, Kiba uses fang over fang on Chunin. The mist ninja avoids the attack, but Shino and Kiba don't stop. Chunin continues to evade their attacks, claiming that it's futile, but he is suddenly trapped to a tree. While he was distracted, Kurenai caught him in tree binding death. As Chunin struggles to break free, she slits his throat, ending the battle. Teika's arms are tied as they walk him back to Konoha. Aikyo, along with his cousins, Nimura and Sanko, meet them, and Aikyo sees his former best friend. The two start weeping as Teika says that he thought he was dead. He apologizes for everything he's done, and Aikyo forgives him. Nimura and Sanko, who knew Teika, tell him that he better come back when he's out of jail. The next day, Naruto meets up with Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. Kiba says that he enjoyed the mission and declares Naruto as a rival. Hinata thanks Naruto for his help, and Naruto thanks them for the mission. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Sasuke and Sakura are sitting in the hospital. Sasuke was training hard the previous day and needed rest. The scene with his flashback and her cutting apples is the same, except Sasuke remembers how Naruto played the biggest role in defeating Gaara. Sasuke smacking the plate to the sound for remains the same. Kakashi and Guy receiving the mission birds to Naruto's excitement is the same. Naruto walks in on Sakura and Sasuke, and the rest up to the fight is the same. In Naruto and Sasuke's fight, Naruto only makes 10 clones. Everything until Sakura tries to stop Sasuke is the same. For the first time, Sakura verbally admits that she has feelings for Sasuke. The rest of the scene is the same. When the team is heading out, Sakura doesn't have a flashback. When Naruto is chasing Kimimaro, he doesn't start to transform. Everything up until then is the same. Against Kimimaro, Naruto only makes 10 clones. When he charges in, the chakra cloak appears. When Lee is fighting Kimimaro, Drunk Lee forces him to activate stage 1 of Curse Mark. When Lee opens the first gate, he's stopped like in the original, but then he opens 2 more gates, entering the Gate of Life. Lee is able to force Kimimaro in the air, and he begins Hidden Lotus, but is interrupted before the final blow by his opponent entering stage 2 and cutting him off. Lee falls and is unable to keep his gates opened. Kiba is shown hiding and the rest is the same, with the Sand Ninja coming to the rescue. Throughout this fight with Gaara, Kimimaro is in stage 2. When Gaara activates the Shukaku's shield, he has entered the initial Jinchuriki form. In Naruto and Sasuke's battle, Sasuke notes that Naruto's version 1 cloak looks the same as Gaara's. Everything until the end of the arc remains the same. The Kakashi Gaiden arc is the same, but with one difference. Kakashi's saber doesn't break against the Iwa ninja, it only flies out of his hand. After the time skip, Sasuke is standing with many ninja lying at his feet. Many of the character designs are different after time skip. This arc starts off like the Itachi pursuit mission. Orochimaru compliments Sasuke, saying that he's broken his limit, something that he's never done before. Orochimaru explains that people have a set amount of chakra reserves and that no amount of training could increase it. But Sasuke has done the impossible and broken his limits, giving him a vast amount of chakra. Orochimaru tells Sasuke that he can't be so merciful, and the scene continues as usual. Orochimaru is lying in bed and Kabuto tells him that he's approaching his limit. The scene continues like in the original, with Sasuke and Orochimaru fighting. When Orochimaru is absorbing Sasuke, he has a flashback of getting into a fight with Itachi in an attempt to steal his body. The fight is cut short by other team members, and the former is kicked out of the Akatsuki for his actions. The scene ends with Sasuke walking away from Kabuto. Sasuke's meeting with Suigetsu is the same. When Team Hebi goes to Soraku for Nekoba, They see 3 orphans. Jugo talks to them and learns that their names are Rokuo, Yonro, and Gota. He offers them some food before leaving with Hebi. Sasuke's story remains the same until he states the goal of killing Itachi to Hebi. Sasuke's battle goes exactly the same, with the additional scenes from the anime, until Deidara's Clay Snake plan fails. Deidara's Clay is not a Kekkei Genkai, but a unique spin-off on the Earth style. Additionally, whenever Sasuke uses Chidori and Curse Mark, it's black, like at the end of part 1. When Deidara states that he'll kill Sasuke, Team Hebi arrives on the scene, prepared to kill the Akatsuki member. Tobi shows up and uses a strange jutsu that allows him and his partner to disappear. Everything with Team Hebi remains the same afterwards. The scene with Tobi and Pain also stays. Team Hebi doesn't have to run away since they aren't being followed. Naruto and Jiraiya return to Konoha. The start of the arc is the same. When Naruto is about to use his new sexy jutsu, Sakura only yells at him rather than using violence. Kakashi doesn't do the bell test and instead tells him to relax. The next day, Naruto wants to get ramen, but Kakashi leaves to submit a list of the team formation. The story until Gaara's fight with Deidara is the same. Against the Akatsuki member, Gaara enters initial Jinchuriki form, but the rest is the same. When Naruto refuses Tsunade's mission, Sakura doesn't attack him and instead berates him. The next difference is the fight between Team Guy and Kisame. Instead of using an air palm, Neji uses an actual palm strike to knock Kisame away. When Kakashi engages Itachi, he uses his chakra saber to fight. The next difference is that when the Konoha ninja are preparing to break the wall, the task is given to Naruto, who summons 2 toads, one that spits wind and the other that spits water. He has 2 toads combine their jutsu to create a powerful water stream that breaks the wall. The battle against Sasori is also different. When Chio says that she can't defeat Sasori alone, she asks Sakura what jutsu she has. Sakura says that she can use genjutsu, some water style, some earth style, and chakra scalpel. Chio tells Sakura that she will have to use her chakra scalpel to defeat Iruko. Their conversation about the poison remains the same. After avoiding attacks, Sakura activates chakra scalpel and cuts the puppet to pieces. When Sakura attacks the cubic sand, she leaves hand signs and uses a new water jutsu, a short-range attack that releases a powerful blast of water from the user's mouth. Sasori doesn't make a comment about her unnatural strength. When Sakura destroys the 3rd Kazekage, she does so by using chakra scalpel. After Sasori reveals his puppet body and goes to attack Shio, Sakura traps Sasori with inner Sakura. The inner Sakura grabs Sasori and holds him in place long enough for Sakura to slice him with her scalpel. Sasori reforms himself, and the battle continues as usual. Sakura uses scalpels against 100 puppets instead of her fists. Everything until the end remains the same. The arc ends with Danzo and Sai. Meanwhile, Team Hebi split up and find any leads for Itachi. The story is the same with the exception of the Deidara fight. Hebi regroups and rests, having the conversation from the original. Jugo has gotten leads, and the storyline is similar, except Karin doesn't have Sasuke's old clothes. Sasuke arrives at the lair and meets Itachi and kills the clone, like in the original. Itachi invites him to the Uchiha hideout. When they arrive, Kisame doesn't want to let them through, so Getsu, Jugo, and Karin fight him, and Sasuke goes on ahead. Sasuke and Itachi see each other, and Itachi asks what he sees. Sasuke says that he sees his death, and the battle begins. The initial exchange up until Sasuke using Chidori's spear on the real Itachi is unchanged. Itachi points out that Sasuke doesn't have Mangekyo, but Sasuke informs him that he's broken the limit of his chakra, something that even Itachi hasn't done. Meanwhile, Kisame is fighting Suigetsu, Jugo, and Karin, and they have an epic battle that includes flashbacks and strategy. Itachi points out Sasuke's confidence, and the conversation about the Mangekyo remains the same, as does everything up until the Shuriken duel. After the two finish throwing a storm of Shuriken at one another, Sasuke uses Fireball Jutsu. Itachi counters with a Water Style Jutsu, cancelling out Sasuke's attack. Sasuke uses a new jutsu, which shoots many small fireballs at once like a shotgun. Itachi counters using a Water Jutsu, cancelling out each fireball. Sasuke charges and fires Chidori's Senbon. Itachi defeats the Senbon with a Wind Style Jutsu that fires small crescents of wind. His opponent immediately follows up with the Chidori Spear, but it pierces a clone. Itachi gets behind Sasuke with a kunai, forcing him to use Chidori's Stream. Itachi jumps back and Sasuke rushes him with a sword in hand. The two grab each other and the clone appears behind Itachi. The battle from here to when Sasuke breaks Tsukiyomi is the same. When Itachi is about to reuse the Amaterasu, Sasuke attacks with the Fire Style technique, which releases fireballs in rapid succession. Itachi moves around as the stream follows him. Sasuke stops and summons Fuma Shurikens. Shadow Shuriken technique to Sasuke's use of Kirin remains unchanged, except that Sasuke isn't getting exhausted due to breaking his limit and having double the chakra reserves. Itachi gets back up and reveals the Susanoo, explaining that it's his trump card. Sasuke uses Summoning Jutsu to summon Manda and Garuda. He tells the snake to stall Itachi, while he rides the hawk high in the sky. Because Sasuke is in the air, he sits down and closes his eyes, remembering his journey to Ryuji Cave. On the ground, Wanda is fighting the Susanoo, but Itachi brings out the Tosca blade and seals him in the gourd. When Sasuke lands and unsummons Garuda, he enters the Snake Sage mode, though imperfect. Zetsu is surprised that Sasuke knows his technique. Sasuke comments that he's running out of chakra and needs to end the battle quickly. He uses Sage Art inorganic animation on Susanoo, but it's ineffective. Realizing that he only has enough chakra for one more jutsu, Sasuke starts Chidori and expands it into the form of a giant blade around his hand. Using his final attack, Sage Art Chidori's sword, Sasuke swings the electric blade at the Susanoo, who retaliates with the Tosca sword. The two clash, but the sword seals the lightning jutsu. Sasuke runs out of chakra, making his jutsu and the Sage mode disappear.
As Itachi walks towards Sasuke, Zetsu comments on how Susanoo carries a lot of risk, as it takes up a lot of chakra and significantly decreases the user's health. Sasuke throwing kunai bombs until the end of the fight remains unchanged. After the fight, Team Hebi comes to pick up Sasuke. This arc begins the same as the reconnaissance mission arc until the sparring with Yamato. After Naruto and Sakura get mad at Sai, the team goes to relax. When Sai leaves, Naruto goes into his bags and takes some items out of it to mess with him. He goes to Sakura to tell her about it when Yamato comes up behind them. Naruto apologizes, claiming it's just a joke, but Yamato reveals that he was sent on this mission to watch Sai. Yamato explains who Danzo is and that Sai works for him. First, the team reads a letter designated to Orochimaru. Yamato theorizes that Danzo sent Sai as a middleman between him and Orochimaru so that they can work together to destroy Konoha. Next, they read his picture book and the analysis goes the same way as in the original story. When Sai returns, Naruto gets mad at him and the conversation starts off the same as the one in the hideout from the original. After Naruto brings up fake smiles, Sai decides to tell them everything. The conversation remains the same, ending with Sai saying that he couldn't remember what he wanted to draw. Yamato reveals Sai's bingo book, explaining how they work and showing Sasuke's face in it. Yamato ties up Sai and the conversation is also similar, except since Sai hasn't met Sasuke, he only assumes that Sasuke doesn't care based on his actions. Naruto gives his speech and inspires Sai to change. Sai announces that he wants to see what bonds are made of and decides to help Naruto and Sakura bring Sasuke back to Konoha. The next day, the team executes their plan. When Yamato is disguised as Sasori and approaches Kabuto, Orochimaru doesn't come. After discussing their plans for a short time, Kabuto cuts Sasori, revealing that he actually works with Orochimaru and that the mind spell was undone by him. When Naruto, Sakura, and Sai appear, Naruto asks where Sasuke is. Kabuto tells them that Sasuke has already left after killing Orochimaru. Kabuto then gives them a book with all the intel that he and Orochimaru have gathered on the Akatsuki over the years. Team Kakashi is confused. Kabuto explains that Orochimaru wanted to get rid of the Akatsuki and that he's giving them the book to help Naruto as a token of thanks. The conversation goes the same direction as in the original Itachi Pursuit mission arc, with Kabuto explaining how he lost himself and his current goal to surpass Orochimaru. Naruto and Yamato attack him, but he escapes, saying that he'll fight Naruto once he's mastered his powers. When returning to the village, Sai suddenly remembers what he wanted to draw. After finishing it, he smiles and says that is what he wanted to show his brother. The picture is of him and his brother holding hands. The team smiles back and Yamato is happy that they're all finally getting along. When they return to the village, Sai has the same conversation with Danzo, asking to stay on Team 7. The next day, Naruto goes out for ramen with his team when he meets a familiar face. Sasuke greets Naruto with his usual insults and Naruto and Sakura stare with disbelief. Sasuke asks where Kakashi is, but Naruto and Sakura flood him with questions. He tells them that he's killed Orochimaru and Itachi, meaning that he accomplished his goal, leaving nothing left. But then he remembered that before Itachi killed his clan, he wanted to join the military police. This gave him a new goal, to protect Konoha from threats like Itachi. Sasuke then announces that his new Nindo is to do anything to achieve justice. Sai introduces himself as the new member and Yamato introduces himself as a temporary squad captain, having worked with Kakashi in the Anbu before. Sasuke goes to meet Kakashi as the others go to report the news to Tsunade. Naruto and Sasuke are still Genin, but their power and abilities are at least on the level of Chunin. Instead of making them go through the exams again, she gives them a special mission to test if they're ready to officially ascend to the next rank. Team Kakashi without Sakura and Kakashi, and Team Gai are to go on a B-rank assassination mission with Yamato, Sai, and Team Gai, creating the two Genin. Their target, a man named Jama, has been confirmed to be hiring the Akatsuki for mercenary jobs. Their location is in Yugakure. When Lee meets Sasuke, he tells him that even though he's defeated Orochimaru and Itachi, he will still catch up. Guy encourages Lee's spirit, that she calls Sasuke troublesome, and Naruto agrees. Squad heads to the hidden steam village, and they are greeted by Rokuo. He asks if they're Konoha ninja, and explains that he's the one who requested the mission. He tells them that Yugakure is a peaceful village, and turns a blind eye to difficult subjects, such as this one, Roku invites the team to his house since it's nighttime. There, he introduces them to Yonro and Gota, his ninja squad. Gota explains that the three of them aren't enough to go against Jama, but they have been gathering information on him. Yonro shows them a map of Yu and points out where Jama's hideout is located. He warns them that he might have an Akatsuki member as a bodyguard. In Konoha, Sakura wonders how Naruto and Sasuke are doing on their mission. She then goes out to train, practicing her summoning jutsu. The next morning, Team Kakashi goes out to get breakfast before the mission. On their way there, they run into Kisame and Tobi. When Sasuke sees Tobi's Sharingan, Madarasu activates and burns him. Kisame notices them and Naruto rushes in. Naruto has developed a new fighting style called Clone Combat, where he mixes taijutsu and precise clone timing in creative ways. Naruto uses clone combat against the Akatsuki members, and Sasuke comes in to help, unsheathing his sword. The two exchange blows with Kisame before the latter creates a dome of water to surround himself. The two back away. Tobi gets back up and is unharmed by the black flames. As Yamato and Sai are getting ready to assist, Kisame laughs at how coincidental it is that he would meet two Jinchuriki in such a short amount of time. Naruto demands that he explains, so Kisame tells him that they recently captured the Four-Tails Jinchuriki. Naruto has flashbacks of when Gaara died. His pupils begin to change as he asks them if they killed the Jinchuriki. Sasuke and Yamato tell Naruto to calm down, but Kisame's confirmation sends Naruto into a one-tailed cloak. He runs at Kisame as the other three get back. The Akatsuki member uses his shark skin to absorb Naruto's red chakra. This makes his sword grow in size. Kisame slaps Naruto away, but Naruto comes back with a second tail. Sasuke tells Yamato that they should do something, but Yamato says that he has a plan. Yamato has a flashback of Jiraiya telling him about Naruto's tailed beast transformation. Kisame traps Naruto in a water prison, but Naruto gains another tail and breaks free. Wood wraps around and retains Naruto as Sasuke and Sai take care of Kisame. Sasuke releases snakes from his shoulder, and Sai uses his ink lions. Yamato uses the Hokage-style Elder Jutsu to suppress the Nine-Tails chakra. Once Naruto is back to normal, Yamato creates a wall of wood between his team and the Akatsuki, allowing them time to retreat. Naruto wakes up and asks what happened. Sai explains that he lost control and transformed. Naruto remembers what he did to Jiraiya and is in shock. Yamato tells him not to rely on the Nine-Tails, with a speech similar to the original one in Tenchi Bridge arc. Additionally, Yamato reminds Naruto that he's being graded on the mission and if he messes up, he won't rank up. Team Guy returns to the house, asking about the destruction of the village. Yamato explains that they ran into an Akatsuki member, and Naruto uses Jinchuriki powers. Sasuke asks why Yamato can use Wood Style, a Kekkei Genkai unique to the first Hokage. Yamato reveals that he was experimented on by Orochimaru. Roku brings some food for Team Kakashi, and Yamato goes over the plan. When the team arrives at the hideout, Sasuke summons a small hawk to scout the area. When the hawk comes back, he tells the team that Jama has a lot of henchmen. Yamato and Sai will deal with the henchmen, Team Guy will take on Kisame, and Naruto and Sasuke will kill Jama. Like in the Deidara fight, Tobi stays at a distance and comments on the fight. Yamato creates a tunnel for the others to infiltrate the hideout while he and Sai serve as a distraction. When they get inside, Neji uses Byakugan to spot Jama. He informs the team that there is a tough-looking bodyguard besides Kisame. Lee and Guy kick down the door, and Neji rushes in. Using his new jutsu, Chakra Needles, Neji fires from Tenketsu in his fingers and blocks the chakra of all the henchmen. Team Guy and Kisame take their rematch outside, while Naruto and Sasuke are left to deal with the other bodyguard. She takes out a unique sword and introduces herself as Ameyuri Ringo, a member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist. Her sword is named Blast, or Wave Sword. Jama is trying to run away before Naruto asks him why he's working with the Akatsuki. Jama tells him that he feels safe if he's not on their bad side. Naruto angrily questions Jama, wondering if he can live with himself by being such a coward. Jama says he's perfectly fine with this lifestyle before running away. Sasuke summons a small hawk as Ameyuri's sword begins to vibrate. She swings it and releases a powerful shockwave. Naruto and Sasuke are sent flying back. Naruto begins to get angry, but Sasuke reminds him of what Yamato said about passing the test, calming him down. Kisame summons 3 clones, making enough to take on Team Guy. Lee and Neji try to use taijutsu against their clone, but Shark Skin is too dangerous. Tenten attacks from afar with ninja weapons, but it's not working. Kisame summons his C again, and each of the clones use Shark Bomb Jutsu on their opponent, worrying Guy. Jiraiya and Kakashi meet up, and the latter expresses his worry for Naruto. Jiraiya tells Kakashi that Naruto broke his chakra limit through sheer hard work over 2.5 years, doubling his chakra reserves. Kakashi expresses that it's impossible to do such a thing, but Jiraiya says he thought so too until Naruto did it. With Naruto using clone combat and Sasuke using a fire chakra flow on his sword, the two engage in close quarters combat with Ameyuri. Naruto's clone timing allows Sasuke and him to dodge the shockwaves while attacking. Sasuke's fire isn't having effect, so he switches to a lightning chakra flow. Since lightning flow uses vibrations, his sword can now match blasts. Ameyuri makes space and casts her water-style Lion Bomb Jutsu. Sasuke activates the Sharingan and counters with Earth-style Mud Wall Jutsu. His wall has snake sculptures on it, like how Kakashi's has dogs. Earth is strong against water, so the wall is victorious. The swordsman uses shockwaves to cut down the wall and cast her jutsu again, but this time so does Sasuke. The two fire the same jutsu and are equal until Naruto summons his wind toad. The toad mixes a gust of wind with Sasuke's water line, overpowering Amayuri's. The swordsman moves out of the way and is surrounded by Naruto's multi-shadow clone jutsu. Amayuri uses shadow clone jutsu and creates 10 of herself, each with a blast. Naruto's clones are getting wiped out when Sasuke uses Chidori's stream, dispelling all of her clones. The area begins to get misty and the two remember Zabuso using this attack. On the other side, Lee dodges the shark bomb by opening the first gate. Neji uses rotation to deflect it, and Tenten uses a scroll with an earth-style jutsu sealed inside to counter it. Guy is proud of his students and focuses on the real Kisame. Lee jumps straight to third gate and uses Leaf Tornado, a new technique where Lee spins extremely fast and delivers a barrage of kicks. Neji, realizing that shark skin is sentient, shuts down its chakra with his needles. He follows up with 8 Trigram 64 palms on his clone. Tenten summons 4 giant shurikens and controls them with her wires. Once she surrounds the evading clone with them, she uses lightning style scroll to fire a bolt of lightning that bounces from shuriken to shuriken until it hits the clone due to them being metal. Guy enters the 6th gate and exchanges blows with Kisame, but Zetsu shows up and warns the latter that they still have a mission, meaning that he can't die, so Kisame retreats. Sasuke stabs his sword into the ground and releases snakes to search for Amayuri. Their enemy comes from the sky with 2 blasts and strikes Naruto's back. Sasuke gets away in time, but he left his sword behind. Amayuri cloned her swords and attacks Sasuke, leaving Naruto bleeding on the ground. Sasuke releases snakes from his arms, but they are cut down quickly. Amayuri stabs Sasuke with one sword and is about to behead him with the next. As he coughs up blood, he holds onto the sword and wraps snakes around her arm. As she mocks him, Sasuke's arms come from the ground and hold her legs. She's shocked and hears a sound behind her. Sasuke's sword turns into Naruto, who slams a Rasengan in her back. Sasuke's clone and the blast clone disappear as Sasuke emerges from the ground. She flies away due to the force of Naruto's jutsu, but Sasuke catches up to her and ends her life with Chidori before she can recover. Naruto is upset that they lost Jama, believing that now they'll fail, but Sasuke reminds him that he sent a small hawk to track him. The two go into a forest and chase him down. Naruto pins him down and tells Jama that he doesn't need the Akatsuki to feel secure. Jama disagrees and tells him that they're too young to understand. Sasuke pierces his chest with Chidori's spear, angering Naruto. When he asks why he did that, Sasuke asks him if he forgot that their mission was an assassination one. Naruto remembers and is disappointed. The 8-man squad brings Jama's corpse to Rokuo and his team. The 3 are pleased to tell them that they've succeeded. When the squad returns to Tsunade, Yamato, Sai, Guy, Neji, and Tenten give them all good reviews. That, along with their mission success, allows them to officially rank up to Chunin. Naruto is still a little upset over the death of Jama. At the end, all of Team 7 visit the Land of Waves and meet Inari and Tazuna again. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out my manga for free online. If you enjoy my content, please consider donating to my Patreon. All important links will be in the description. Y to the is you, M to the is E. It's your boy Yumesuke Stashika. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. You're a true fan and it's much appreciated. The next episode of Naruto Reboot will probably come around the time when the most recent episode hits 1,000 views, so you can stop asking about that. And I really wanted to hit the 1 hour mark, so I'm just gonna probably play music in the background as the video goes on to 1 hour, because I'm this close. Check out my manga and have a good day.